to Space Engineering. My name is Andrew P860, and this is my planetary explorer that I have made to go find this one trading station. It's 112 kilometers away from me right now, which takes about 20 minutes of space flight to get to. So, let's talk about how I will get there and when I will get there. And I'll do that by talking about thrusters. So the first is the atmospheric thruster. If you start on a planet, these are usually the first ones you get to go airborne with. They have one of the highest thrust capacities, and they use electricity. Now, your ion thrusters also use electricity, but they do not have the same thrust as your atmospheric thrusters. So the atmospheric thrusters keep you from falling off planetary into planetary gravity. And the reason for it is planetary gravity pulls everything down, whereas artificial gravity only affects you and certain items that are floating in the area, like components. These require 6 kilowatts of power per small unit, and I have 6 of them going down so that if I'm loaded up, they should keep me airborne and allow me to go up. Then I place 2 on each of the other points of movement, except pushing me down, because I'm going to let gravity do that to me instead. Basically, you don't have to put any atmospheric thrusters going down unless you are going to be perpendicular to the surface, or you're going to want to fly upside down. And I want to be mostly at level with maybe up to 60-degree angle. And so, for you to figure out your power usage, because while power to thrust ratio is low in comparison with your ion thrusters, you still need a lot of power, and this is your atmospheric thrusters, are where you're probably going to be drawing a lot of your power from. So you take the 6 going down so you can stay up, and then 2 from each of your axes or your points of movement. So that is 10. And so that is, doing the calculation, 6,000 kilowatts of power. And that means with a small reactor, you need 500 kilowatts of power per small reactor, so you need about 12 of them to stay up and also slow down or speed up on 2 different points of movement at the same time. So instead of doing that, I put a large reactor, which allows 14.75 megawatts of power to it. And so that will keep me powered pretty well. It's a little bit of an overkill, but instead of trying to find a place for 12 plus, you need at least 1 or 2 more to get the rest of your systems powered as well. you will actually use less space if you go with the large reactor. And so that will fly me around the planet itself. Next we have a large hydrogen thruster. These use the less electricity of all of the thrusters. They have a thrust capacity comparable to your atmospheric thrusters. But while your atmospheric thrusters will flame out once you reach a certain altitude on a planet, your hydrogen thrusters work both in space, on the planet, as well as that transitional period between when your atmospheric thrusters no longer work, but you're still in the gravity well of a planet or moon. The drawback of a hydrogen thruster is that it needs a hydrogen tank, and it goes through fuel pretty quickly. So you have to manage this and make sure that this tank will last you all the way through the atmosphere of the planet and the gravity of the planet to where you can use your ion thrusters to get around in 0G. And it takes a lot of fuel to do that. However, I did learn a trick that we will be showing you when we're getting off the planet of how to manage your fuel system. On a long-range mission, you should probably also add a hydrogen-oxygen generator to your ship. I don't have one of these on here because this is just going to get me to this station and back to my home base here. And that is more than enough hydrogen to do that, since I will only be using this to get off the planet. But with a hydrogen-oxygen generator instead of your oxygen tank, you can use ice to generate fuel, and it will start refilling the tank. However, the generator on a ship does not match the consumption that your thruster does. If you don't have anything in the tank stored up, it will run out of fuel and then you will be basically without any kind of acceleration from your hydrogen thruster, which when you're trying to go through a planet, or if you haven't found the platinum for your ion thrusters yet, you could be just floating in space. Other than that, we have standard gyroscopes and everything else. And let's see if I got everything I wanted to say. The last thing I would like to say about your hydrogen thruster is that you can use it as sort of a afterburner or emergency stop if your ship can take an extra hydrogen tank, which is one of the larger components you can put on a ship. And I don't put one on my station because it uses a lot of ice, and I don't want to constantly be refueling ice. So, that's everything for that. Next time, I will be flying to this. I will be on planet going to the station, since I want to cut out about 20 minutes of me just flying straight in space. And I will see you then.